Hello, I'm Charles Margerison, and by profession, I'm a psychologist. I've studied over 500 amazing people to discover how they became amazing. Were they born with a special gift? Were they of a higher IQ than the rest of us? Did they have parents who were particularly rich and educated them? And the answer to all these questions is no. They became amazing because they developed a formula which they understood in order to self-develop and become amazing through their own efforts. We're talking about people like William Shakespeare, who wrote 37 plays. We're talking about Marie Curie, who came from Poland, had to go into France in order to gain an education and learn a language other than the one she spoke at home, in order to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different areas of science, the only woman ever to do so. We're also looking at people who led the disability movement because they themselves were disabled, like Helen Keller. We're looking at people who lived a long period of time as slaves, like Harriet Tubman, and escaped, and then helped other people to escape. Now, these people are amazing by any standard of measure. We're not talking about they had high IQ. We're not talking in terms of education. We're talking in terms of achievement. They made things happen. They got things done. So what we're saying here is, can we begin to learn ways and means in which we ourselves succeed by developing ourselves? And there are at least 3 major things that all of these people did. Number 1, they identified relatively early in life what they enjoyed doing, and that is called a preference. What is it they really felt they would want to put their efforts into? Therefore, they became passionate about that. Mozart, for example, became passionate about music. And we therefore look at people like Brunel as an engineer who went to create magnificent structures on railways and on shipbuilding. And again, he was passionate about it. So we've got these 2 P's. What is it you prefer to do in terms of your interests? And what is it you can be passionate about? And therefore, you do the 3rd P, which is become persistent. But most of all of these people put one thing at the center of their life. They had a P called purpose. And that purpose was the guiding light in terms of what they achieved. So you look at people like Dr. Bernardo, who set up the homes for children. You look at Lister, who was developing the whole field of sanitation. You look at people like the areas in which they began to focus upon, and you say these people had a reason for their work. Now, in terms of becoming amazing, we can all identify something we prefer to do. We can all then become passionate about it. We can become persistent about it. That means you get up every day and you start working on it rather than just sort of leaving it because it was an idea yesterday, but you forget about it. And the most important thing is, does it become something which is important to you in terms of purpose, something you want to guide your life about? Now, the amazing people all put effort into what they did, and that is why they succeeded. It wasn't because they were super intelligent, super educated, or had lots of money. Many of them started in poverty. Edison, who eventually had 1,093 patents to his name, was thrown out of school at the age of 7 because they said he was addled, which is an old term for not very clever. The truth was he was deaf, and he couldn't understand what the teacher was saying. But he picked himself up and he went and developed the great company called General Electric. Now, we've got a number of people who, in the 500 that I have looked at, who had similar backgrounds. Everybody thinks Michelangelo was a genius, and of course he was, but he had to be taken in by another family because his own family was broken and his father was busy working, his mother was poor. So he was taken, and the reason he became a success is the people who took him in were stonemasons. And therefore he became a great sculptor. So if you look, it is partly opportunity, it's partly seizing what in fact is given to you in terms of the environment in which you live, but making the best of your opportunities. So what we can say is about achievement is that you need to have identified what you like doing, your preference. You need to put time into it, which is persistence. Therefore, it needs to be something which you're passionate about. And most of all, how can you convert it into a purpose, which is something more than just you? How can you introduce this to other people? How can you make yourself useful? It's often called the contribution. What are you contributing? Now, to do that, you need a couple of other P's. Number one is you need a plan. Can you write a plan for yourself? Can you develop a way in which you bring other people in to help you convert your plan into action? Because even the amazing people did not do it by themselves. They all had people who supported them. If you look at Walt Disney with now Disney World, magnificent, but he wouldn't have got anywhere without his brother, who was the businessman behind him. If you look at people like Henry Ford, he wouldn't have got anywhere without the people who helped him raise some money. All of these people had others who were helping them achieve their objectives, and therefore, who are you bringing into your life to help you? Second thing that you need to do in terms of making it work are priorities. If you can't establish what is the most important thing, and you let other smaller problems and issues get in your way, then you're unlikely to achieve your main objective. So you have to get priorities and work on it. So these are the main issues which we are trying to work on in order to develop high levels of achievement. And if you focus on these, you yourself can improve your level of achievement. Thank you for listening to this recording about the lives of amazing achievers, which are figured in the book Amazing Careers, which I have written. My name is Dr. Charles Majerison. Please indicate if this is of interest by liking, and we look forward to providing more regular recordings on the lives of amazing people.